Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Firstly, I appreciate the member for Euroa's MPI topic today. I think that the matter of conduct and integrity is always important. I think we always need to have an eye on it. I know that people are talking about it, especially in relation to politics and politicians and people in my electorate especially. I know that the failure of big parties to uphold and promote standards of conduct that the rest of the community feels like they uphold all the time is one of the significant reasons why there's been a movement of independence, of people in some communities just saying we want a different style, we want something less adversarial, we want something collaborative, we want something that is focused on compromise. And so I do believe this is a legitimate topic today. When I ran for election in 2018, I did so on the basis that the big parties were failing us and we needed to change the game. I see the list of concerns that the member for Euroa has outlined. The allegations are certainly unflattering, and if any of them were substantiated, would be unacceptable to most Victorians and definitely to most people in my electorate. But today, after some experiences that I've had, it has to be said that this is not an issue that is monopolised by one side. I think this is an issue that and a problem that afflicts all of the big parties. When I'm using my time and resources, and when I talk about my time and resources, that's my electorate's resources, to negotiate a drug and alcohol rehab centre for Mildura, the big parties are spending time and money on deeply unfair and misleading and probably defamatory smear campaigns against me. While I'm using my time and my electorate's resources trying to get a new hospital, the big parties are spending tens of thousands of dollars on letterboxing, blatant misinformation. And it's personal and it's sexist, using awful photos to portray me as ugly, using sexualised language to humiliate my colleague, Fiona Patten. I watched the last 4 years of American politics in a state of horror, whereas the big parties seem to have been inspired by it. I had a call from a man from Sea Lake today who was confused about why I would not want to protect our emergency services workers from violence. This is what the big parties recently claimed about me. I told him that 3 weeks ago I had 3 ambulances at my house saving my little boy's life. Why would I not want to protect ambulance workers? The lies and the distortions feel beyond usual just politicking and political nitpicking. They're getting worse. They're breathtaking, and so is the hypocrisy. When our Federal National Party MP Anne Webster was under vicious attack recently from online trolls claiming all sorts of horrendous things about her and her family and her organisation, Zoe Support, an organisation I deeply respect and have worked with, in fact, as a director at one time, she sued the perpetrator of that campaign, and I wrote an affidavit in her support. I wrote sincerely about my experiences with Anne, and I vouched for her character and decency as a good person and a professional. Our politics might be very different, but Anne is a good person, and that's what I told the federal court. Anne has since been at the forefront of an important campaign to improve standards of online behaviour. But at the same time, the big parties purchased my domain name to run a campaign of public humiliation against me. The big parties may not understand, but voters are connecting the dots. They are connecting the dots when they consider matters of integrity and conduct of politicians and big parties, of all of us. They're seeing the galling hypocrisy in this, and it's not covering anyone in glory. And when I'm trying to negotiate constructively with the government in good faith to get some reassurance for the regions on the state of emergency, I'm gaslit and I'm misrepresented by everybody. In Parliament today, the big parties claimed I was trying to get regional Victoria permanently excluded from COVID restrictions. Why would I say that? That's just not true. I never asked for that. I said the regions were jarred by the recent blanket stage 4 restrictions, and I was concerned that this would be the go-to option from now on. I said we wanted an assurance that to the greatest extent possible, the government would apply proportionality based on risk. It's what the government's been doing anyway for the most part of last year. That's what I was asking for. It was sensible, it was rational, and there was a precedent for it, and it was in the interests of regional communities. I was told yesterday that there would be concessions for the regions in the government's future framework for managing the pandemic, and today the government denied it. That's all on the public record, and it's your right to comment on that. I understand that. You can do that. You can do what you want to politically with that, but you don't have to heap lies on top of it.
Order. Just remind the member for Mildura that the word lie and lies is not permitted in the House.
You can take your political wins, and I understand this, where you can get them, but you should have, for all of our sakes and for the sake of the community and the standing of politics, some shred of honour, some standards, some ethics, some basic human decency. And you don't have to take my advice. Take it from the electorate. There's a reason they're not voting for you. There's a reason why there's a shift to independent politics. People want collaboration. They want compromise. Not only is this culture revolting, but it's not working. People in my electorate just want hard work and results. That's all they want. And that's exactly what I'm going to keep doing, because you don't scare me. None of you do.